Rust is one of those games where every detail can be crucial, and knowing some of the secrets can take your gameplay to the next level. That's why in this guide, I'll show you 20 tips and tricks to get better in Rust, from the light ones to those that will definitely blow your mind. For example, did you know that you can hide in the vines in a new jungle biome and no one will be able to damage you? Or that you can dodge a crocodile attack and easily get rid of it? And that's only a small part of today's video. So, before we begin, make sure to hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and check out today's sponsor. Rustly is one of the fastest growing Rust websites with a lot of games to play, many deposit methods including skins, cards and crypto, and instant withdrawals with a store full of skins. You can climb 5 free cases by using code STELIC or clicking the link in the first comment. You can battle against real players or bots in games like case battles, coin flip and even minefield and win cool skins. And if it's not enough for you, you can get a lot of bonuses and free cases every 24 hours. In fact, you can get 5 free cases right now if you click the link in the first comment or go to rustly.com and use code STELIC. Please remember, loot boxes sites can be addictive, so make sure you're over 18 and only spend money you can afford to lose. Good luck! There is an overpowered red spot in the new monument in the jungle biome. If you jump on this fence and then into this container, you can have complete control of one of the entrances. And while you're holding the control key, nobody outside can see you, so you're completely safe here. These new vines in the jungle biome are kind of broken. As you can see, vines have their own hitbox, and for whatever reason, it's 20 times bigger than it should be. And the best part is that you can't shoot through this hitbox. So if you hide inside, you won't take any damage. That's why it's broken. However, if you go inside that hitbox, you can easily shoot through it and deal damage to other players while being practically invincible. Now, the scariest animal in Rust is Crocodilo Bombardino. You can't outrun or outswim him, because he's insanely fast and deals tons of damage. And also, he has 450 HP. However, there is an easy way to escape from him. If you turn around and look at him, he will stop running and won't attack for a while. Use this chance to get away from this crocodile. But if you fail and he's about to bite you, just move to the left or right when he attacks, and he'll miss without damaging you. So you will have a second chance to escape. In addition to the crocodile, you should also be afraid of the tiger and panther. However, they are much easier to get rid of. Just go into the water and they will run away from you. But be careful, because there might be a crocodile in the water. Since we're talking about animals, let me show you how to break a bear. I know it sounds strange, but take a look at this. If you get too close to the bear, he will chase you and start biting you. However, if you get behind him, he will break and stand still. Now you can easily get rid of this bear, even with a rock. So make sure to use this trick if you don't have any wood to build a high foundation. The new jungle DLC is really pay to win. First, you get a new shelf that is half the size of the default shelf. Not only you can put a sleeping bag on top of it, which you can't do with the default shelf, but it also looks really unusual. Secondly, you get a wall shelf, and that's a really cool item. The easiest way to use it is to put a few pots on it. However, that would be a waste of space, because you can put 2 small boxes on top of it if you rotate the wall hard side inward. This will help you fit a lot more boxes inside your base. A new small palm tree in the jungle biome can replace bushes for traps, because you can easily hide a turret inside it, and it's almost impossible to see this turret even if you get very close. But what's even cooler is that you can build this trap right next to the road and get a lot of free loot. To do this, build a high square next to the palm tree, add a half wall with a ceiling in front, and put a turret on top. If you have a metal skin, use the green color to hide this build and enjoy a huge amount of free loot. The bow is the most common weapon in Rust, and if you learn how to use it correctly, you will be unstoppable. To avoid wasting time while running, you can shoot archery without stopping, and it's much easier than you think. All you have to do is press the right mouse button while running, then release it when you draw your bow, and press the left button at the last moment. And you can do the same while jumping. For example, imagine there is a rock or something else in front of you, and an enemy on the other side. Instead of peeking to the right and wasting time, you can catch your enemy off guard by jumping and shooting at the same time. You should know that your enemy will be at a significant disadvantage if you act unexpectedly. So practice shooting with a bow like I showed, and you'll have a much better chance of winning fights. If you don't know whether it's better to use a new boomerang or an old spear, let me help you make the right choice. Both of these weapons cost 300 wood, both do 25 damage and both can be thrown. However, you can throw a boomerang much longer distance, plus if you miss, it will come back to you. If you miss your spear, you'll just lose it, but worse, your enemy can pick it up, and then you'll have to run away. So it seems to me that a boomerang is much better than a spear. But what do you think about it? Write your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really interested in hearing your opinion. You can use a battering ram and a ladder to check what's inside your enemy's base. Yes, you'll only see what's inside for a fraction of a second, but that's more than enough to get all the information you need. To do this, rotate the ram. Place it as close to the base as possible and use 1000 wood and 500 metal to fix it. Next, sit behind the wheel and drive close enough to the wall, but not too close, just like this. Stand next to the wall in the middle of the ram and attach the ladder to the wall behind you. Get behind the wheel again and drive closer to the wall, about that distance. Now all you have to do is climb the ladder just above the pipe on the ram, open the gate and watch the magic happen. If you are on a tugboat and there is someone on the outside right next to your door and you don't have a workbench or a locker to make an airlock, you can use 2 bare rocks instead. Just attach them to the sides of the door like I showed and open the door. There will be a small gap in the middle through which you can deal damage. And even if your enemies knock you down, they won't have a chance to get in, because they have to break both rocks. If you fall into the water, you cannot use any weapons other than knives or a spear gun. However, this doesn't apply to all grenades, including molotovs, flashes and smokes, because for whatever reason, water physics doesn't even work for them. So you can dive deep and throw a grenade on land right from the water without any trouble. A lot of players use the auto-run keybind to avoid holding multiple buttons at the same time. But did you know that if you hold down the shift key for 5 seconds and then release it, you will continue to sprint even if you only hold the W button? If your game doesn't look colorful enough, you can easily fix that. Open NVIDIA control panel, go to Adjust Desktop Color Settings tab and change the digital vibrance to 100%. But be careful, because this setting can affect your eyesight. I usually use 75%, it's more than enough for me. As you can see, the difference in image quality and color is huge, so be sure to use this trick. Always pay attention to your surroundings, because even the smallest rock could help you in a critical situation. For example, imagine that you need to jump over a fence because you are being chased. You can't just jump over it. However, if you first jump on a small stone and then onto the fence, you can easily jump over it and get rid of your enemies. Turrets in Rust are pretty slow, so if you have a knife or any other melee weapon, you can just run around it and hit it until the turret breaks. But be careful, because once you stop, you're done. If someone starts raiding you and you're sure you don't have a chance to defend your base, just pick up your double door and place a shop front instead of it. Yes, you will have to build a new base after that, but at least you've made your enemies angry and forced them to use more explosives than they expected. What was the most helpful tip in this video? Write about it in the comments below, I'm really interested in your opinion. And if you want to learn more about Rust, then I know there are a lot of people out there who think they suck at Rust. And it doesn't matter if you are a complete beginner or a seasoned veteran, we all have these bad times. So, to help you get better, or maybe to teach you something new, here are 20 essential Rust tips and tricks I wish I knew sooner.